Welcome to Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. I'm Amy Goodman. Israel's war on Gaza has entered its 12th month as the official death toll nears 41,000, though that's believed to be a vast undercount. Israel killed at least 8 Palestinians Saturday in an airstrike on a school housing displaced people in the Jabalia refugee camp. Meanwhile, the UN Special Rapporteur on the Right to Food, Michael Fakhri, has accused Israel of carrying out a starvation campaign in Gaza. The World Food Programme warns some 2.2 million Palestinians in Gaza remain in urgent need of food and humanitarian aid. In the occupied West Bank, a funeral is being held today for the Turkish-American activist Ayşenur Ezgi, who was shot dead Friday by Israeli forces. She was a 26-year-old recent graduate of the University of Washington who was volunteering with the International Solidarity Movement. She was shot while taking part in a weekly protest against illegal Israeli settlements in the town of Beita. The Israeli activist Jonathan Pollock witnessed the shooting.
By the time this had happened, it was completely quiet here. We were standing for 10, 15 minutes without anything happening. The reason why no one was filming is because it was completely quiet. And then all of a sudden, 2 shots. And the sniper or the soldier that was there took a kill shot.
Jonathan Pollock held Ayşenur as she lay dying. We'll have more on this story after headlines. Meanwhile, Israeli troops are also accused of fatally shooting a 13-year-old Palestinian girl named Bana Laboum. She was hit by a bullet while inside her own home in the village of Karyut, which had been attacked by Israeli settlers. Bana's mom spoke out after her daughter was killed.
She was in her room along with her sisters. She was afraid, in fear, and suddenly a bullet got in through the window and hit her while she was on her bed. This is what happened. There were scuffles outside with the youth, but we were surprised that a bullet came through the window and onto her.
As many as 750,000 Israelis took to the streets Saturday in Tel Aviv and other cities calling for a Gaza ceasefire and hostage deal in what's been described as one of the largest protests in Israeli history. This is Zahira Shachar Moore, whose uncle, Abraham Munder, died in captivity in Gaza.
As long as Netanyahu remains in power, we will keep getting hostages back in body bags. Netanyahu must be removed from power in order to save the lives of the hostages and the country itself.
A Jordanian truck driver shot dead 3 Israeli security guards at a border crossing between the occupied West Bank and Jordan Sunday. Israel responded by temporarily closing all border crossings with Jordan. Pedestrian traffic has resumed on the Allenby Bridge, the site of the shooting. 3 Lebanese paramedics were killed and 2 were injured Saturday in an Israeli attack on southern Lebanon. The Lebanese government said the paramedics were killed as they were responding to fire sparked by recent Israeli airstrikes. In related news, Israel's accused of attacking Syria overnight, killing at least 16 people in Hama province. Another 36 people were wounded. Donald Trump's sentencing in his hush money election interference case has been pushed back till November 26, weeks after the presidential election. New York Judge Juan Merchan made the ruling on Friday. On the same day, Trump appeared in a different New York courtroom as his lawyers attempted to overturn his sexual abuse conviction in the E. Jean Carroll case. Trump later held a news conference where he assailed Carroll and another woman, Jessica Leeds, who'd accused him of sexual misconduct on a plane.
It couldn't have happened. It didn't happen. And she would not have been the chosen one. She would not have been the chosen one.
To see our interviews with Jessica Leeds, you can go to democracynow.org. On Saturday, Donald Trump also posted a message on social media threatening to jail opponents if he wins re-election. He wrote, quote, When I win, those people that cheated will be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law, which will include long-term prison sentences so that the depravity of justice does not happen again. Please beware that this legal exposure extends to lawyers, political operatives, donors, illegal voters, and corrupt election officials, Trump wrote. This all comes as Trump prepares for Tuesday's debate against Kamala Harris. Sudan's warring parties rejected a call by UN experts to deploy an international force to protect civilians from the devastating civil war which erupted last April. A UN fact-finding mission reported harrowing human rights abuses committed by both Sudanese army and the paramilitary rapid support forces. The World Health Organization's Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus visited Port Sudan over the weekend.
According to available data, Sudan's conflict has so far killed more than 20,000 people. This is an underestimate, by the way. Displaced over 10 million people inside the country and forced another 2 million to flee to neighboring countries. This is the largest internal displacement of people in the world today. The scale of the emergency is shocking, and as is the insufficient action being taken to curtail the conflict and respond to the suffering it's causing.
This comes as new video has emerged from Sudan showing the aftermath of an ethnically motivated massacre by RSF fighters in Darfur's Kasab camp in the town of Khartoum last year. The attack killed an estimated 73 people. The RSF have been accused of many other deadly attacks on black Sudanese communities. In France, tens of thousands of people took to the streets Saturday to protest President Emmanuel Macron's appointment of conservative Michel Barnier as the new prime minister. Leftist parties, which won the most votes in July's snap parliamentary elections, accused Macron of stealing the election. This is Benjamin Lucas, a deputy from the leftist New Popular Front coalition.
By appointing Michel Barnier, the President of the French Republic has decided to spit in the face of the millions of French people who turned out on July 7th to vote in a historic election. The question before us was whether or not we wanted the extreme right to win in this country. The French said no. There was a massive turnout, the highest since 1981. The message was clear. We don't want the extreme right in power.
Venezuela's former opposition presidential candidate Edmundo González has fled to Spain to seek asylum after spending weeks in hiding. González was facing arrest in Venezuela after he accused President Nicolás Maduro of stealing the July election. Venezuela's Supreme Court certified Maduro's victory, but many countries, including the United States, have claimed González won. Pope Francis has arrived in East Timor, becoming the first pope to visit the largely Catholic country since it gained independence in 2002. More than half of East Timor's population of 1.3 million people are expected to attend an open-air mass on Tuesday. The Timorese government has faced backlash for spending $12 million on the papal visit and for bulldozing the homes of many poor families ahead of the Pope's visit. A group of Timorese groups have called on Pope Francis to address the history of sexual abuse by priests in Timor-Leste. In Vietnam, at least 59 people were killed as Typhoon Yagi triggered massive floods and landslides. A major bridge collapsed and a bus was seen being swept away in floodwaters earlier today. This is a resident of the port city of Haiphong.
The damage done to this community is extremely severe. Most of the roof was blown away or the ceiling caved in. It may take 3 or 4 years for this place to look the same again because the damage is so terrible. The surroundings look like an apocalypse day. Never before has a storm dealt this much damage to us.
Typhoon Yagi killed at least 20 people in the Philippines and 4 in southern China last week. Climate change is making extreme weather events like typhoons more frequent and deadlier. Boeing has reached a tentative deal with over 30,000 workers in the Pacific Northwest ahead of a possible strike Friday. The deal includes a 25% pay raise, better retirement and health benefits, pledging to build its next commercial aircraft in the Seattle area and giving the union more say in safety and quality issues. And Miami police have launched an investigation after officers stopped and detained Miami Dolphins star Tyreek Hill as he drove to Sunday's game. An officer handcuffed and placed Hill face down on the street just outside the football team's stadium. Police also handcuffed Hill's teammate, Calais Campbell, who said he was trying to de-escalate the situation. Both men are black. After the players were released, Hill scored a touchdown to help the Dolphins win. During the touchdown celebration, a teammate pretended to handcuff Tyreek Hill in the end zone. Tyreek Hill spoke to reporters after the game.
I still don't know what happened. You know what I'm saying? But I do want to say, I do want to be able to use this platform to say, like, what if I wasn't Tyreek Hill, bro? Like, worst case scenario, you know, because it's crazy.
One Miami police officer involved in the incident has been placed on administrative leave. And those are some of the headlines. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, The War and Peace Report.